One thing we're not quite so sure about, though, isn't a big event which is going to be happening over the weekend. This is the elections in Moldova. Citizens heading to the voting booths on Sunday, aren't they, Dipti?
Yeah, that's right. It's an election which will have enormous repercussions to it, not just in the region, but across Europe as well. President Maya Sandu's pro-European party is hoping to defend its parliamentary majority in what Politico calls here an existential election. She's fighting to preserve her parliamentary majority in the wake of Russian interference. And this election will really decide the direction, the political direction of the country, whether they'll stay pro-Europe or whether they'll head into a Eurosceptic, pro-Russian direction. There have already been accusations of vote buying, cyber attacks, and social media accounts relaying false information to influence the vote. Those are accusations from Maya Sandu's government itself. And this newspaper here from Moldova, the Journal of Moldova, talks about two concrete instances of Russian interference detected so far. The first one on the left, the dismantling of an illegal printing factory that was printing out pro-Russian flyers to hand out to prospective voters. And this article here talks about police having seized some 200 ballot papers, illegal ballot papers that had already been pre-stamped in favor of the pro-Russian party. Both instances, of course, highlighting the lengths to which Russia will go to influence that vote there.
Dipti still finding a lot of reaction to the Trump administration's $100,000 fee. This was on highly skilled foreign workers, a visa.
Yeah, that's right. Business Insider is talking about it today. They've interviewed a whole bunch of business leaders and CEOs to see what their take on it is. Some of them quite favorable to it, a lot of others saying that it will impact hiring capacity of American companies, particularly for foreign talent. Now, that order, it was an executive order signed by Donald Trump nearly a week ago, but the decision to impose a $100,000 fee on the H-1B visa is certainly gotten everyone rattled, and especially the tech community talking about it, because they hire a lot of Indians. In fact, Indians make up some 71% of that visa cohort, according to figures from last year. And that's why Le Monde calls it a direct attack by the Trump administration against India. And in the Indian papers today, this is Business Line, you have this opinion piece here that says that the blow to the visa scheme will reshape tech hiring. And in its article, the writer says that, however, the hike will not really impact Indians too much because there are options elsewhere. China's already announced a special visa for foreign talent, while the Middle East also offers plentiful opportunities.
And indeed, the closer ties between India and China are featured in another article you found. This is in Foreign Affairs magazine.
Yeah, that's right. Foreign Affairs magazine today talking about why India doesn't want to need China, but why U.S. policy is forcing Delhi to turn to its rival. So it explains that the thaw in the icy relationship between Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping first appeared a year ago when they had a bilateral meeting for the first time in 5 years. But nonetheless, China is a rival. So what's been happening is that they've seen closer ties between India and China. But the magazine explains that it might be more of a strategic move. Indian policymakers may be threatened by what they see as a very coercive attitude towards New Delhi and a more gentle posture towards Beijing. So it's possible that being more cordial with China for India at this moment might be a strategic move to mitigate these changing relationships.
Something different for you now. Dipti's found an interesting article. It looks at why a pirate flag from the Japanese manga series One Piece has become a symbol for Gen Z resistance.
It's really interesting. Well worth a tour in the Conversation, an Australian academic website today that talks about this One Piece flag that we've seen brandished in protests from Peru to Nepal to Indonesia recently, particularly Gen Z protests. In Nepal, the flag became a defining image as the flames engulfed the palace complex during anti-government protests. Now, the manga series itself is steeped in Gen Z symbolism. It arrived in 1997, which is the birth of the Gen Z movement. It follows Luffy and his crew of pirates who challenge a corrupt world government while seeking freedom and adventure, which sounds a little bit familiar, Stuart. For that reason, the flag is not just a cool prop, the conversation says, but a symbol of defiance and perseverance. The conversation explaining that the flag's political life really took hold in protests in Indonesia a few months ago, where we saw a lot of young people voicing their anger over government corruption.
And finally from Dipti, New York's so-called rat czar has quietly resigned, apparently.
That's right. The city's first ever rat czar, Kathleen Corradi, has indeed resigned. She has left her $176,000 job. It's not clear yet if she'll be replaced. Over the last 2 years, she's spearheaded a number of initiatives to battle New York City's 3 million strong population. The biggest decision didn't actually come from her directly, but it was installing bins to oblige locals to put their trash bags in the bin instead of leaving it out in the street. Some figures suggested that the rats were receding, or at least they seem to be disappearing a little bit. But in any case, she's now scurried away after a quiet as a mouse resignation, The Independent says, while Gizmodo says the rats have won this round at least.
Yeah, off with the tail between her legs. It's a lot particular wrong there with the papers here on France 24. Still won't tell you what she was talking about earlier.